Hey everybody, good afternoon. It's 2:35, 27th of November 2025. Happy Thanksgiving, I guess that's the words. Happy or merry or joyous or whatever. And I'm at Comena Corca. Let's show you a little bit here. Big shopping mall over there. And this is a building center. Of course, this is where the plants are, as you guys are looking at. I'm just walking around. I got to get electrical cable in here. But as far as news is concerned, there's really not that much new going on. A lot of us are waiting in anticipation to see what Russia's response is going to be to Trump's peace plan, which is drastically changed, I guess, by Ukraine. And I was trying to keep saying, I don't know if I got my point across, that it was kind of a setup, like Trump was for the most part trying to set up Russia, because this peace plan, as many people now have come out and said, like I was saying right away, it favors Ukraine. And everybody's saying, oh, this is great, it's great. And of course, when Ukraine started looking at it, they said, oh, well, we want this change, we want that change. As a matter of fact, they're going right back to where they were already years ago. And they don't seem to realize they're actually losing this war. And, well, Trump's attitude, what I was trying to get across is, he's trying to say, oh, look, at something great is going to happen. And if nothing does, and Russia says, oh, we don't like this and we don't like that, then everybody's going to say, it's Russia's fault. It's Russia. Look, it was crafted based on what Donald Trump and Putin agreed with in Alaska, and now Russia's changing their mind, which, of course, none of that is the case. And Russia isn't saying anything because they're waiting to see what the peace plan says, or if it is even a peace plan. Some people are calling it's actually a war plan. And even for the Ukraine side, it certainly is. It's a war plan. I don't know why that person had to honk. It's a war plan for Ukraine. Like, I think it was Scott Ritter. I saw some video with Scott Ritter, and he said the same thing that I said. 600,000 troops for Ukraine. And I don't know what he said, how many they had at the very beginning of the special military operation. Far, far, far less. Far less. And he said it's twice as much as any of the other countries. Well, it's a lot more than twice as much. It's like triple. It's if you take Poland's 210,000 military, it's nearly triple, and Poland has the second largest. France has the largest with 240,000 soldiers. But if you take even Poland, which is right next door, and they have 210, they're the second biggest military. I'll just say Germany. Just say Germany's military. It's 182,000 soldiers. So Ukraine wants triple the size of Germany right now. So, and then, well, actually not Ukraine. That was Europe. No, wait, excuse me. That was the United States proposal. 600,000. And Europe, of course, came and whispered in Zelensky's ear and said, no, 800,000, 800. So now Zelensky is insisting on 800,000. And I guess the new news, I think it was just today, Zelensky said, no, he can't give up the Donbass at all. So in other words, this peace plan is basically that Ukraine gives up virtually nothing except for Crimea. And of course they lost Crimea a long time ago, back in 2014, more than a decade ago. And I don't know. So in other words, this peace plan has, as of right now, has absolutely zero chance of surviving. As a matter of fact, that's another thing Scott Ritter said. He said he was comparing it with his turkey on the table, and he said if I look at what the chances are between my turkey and this peace plan for surviving, I would bet on the turkey. And the turkey's already dead and cooked, and it's on the table. So he's saying, well, he's mostly saying that Russia's definitely not going to accept it. I said that, of course, from the very beginning. And I don't even know what has is known and why Russia isn't even commenting on that. But I guess they're trying to stay diplomatic. And apparently there was something leaked between Witkoff and I think it was Sergei Lavrov. And apparently Witkoff was saying, you know what, like I said the entire time, is that the way to get to Donald Trump's heart is to feather his ego. And apparently that's what Witkoff said to Sergei Lavrov. So it's very, very strange that everything that I've been saying in so many of these videos in the past, it's all come about. Everything has come to be true. And even if I go back from the very beginning when Donald Trump became president, again, the second time at least, I don't know if I said anything when he was the first time, but Donald Trump, and it's also related to his ego, but Donald Trump, he is, well, somebody was talking about, well, what motivates people? Some people sex, some people money, some people fame. And as a matter of fact, I think that was Emil Kosman that said that. And I don't know if anybody else is saying, but what motivates Donald Trump, in truth, if you really want to be honest about it, what motivates him is success. He wants to be successful. If he is not successful, he will fabricate some success that he has. I did this, I beat ISIS, even though he didn't beat ISIS, and I did this and I did that. I solved all these wars. Look at me, I'm Donald Trump. I don't really know. Donald Trump definitely has some kind of a psychological problem, but that's what it's all about. And anyway, I don't know. I didn't take any notes at all today, and because it's mostly all the same stuff. It's in, you know, just little incidents. There's a big fire in Hong Kong, a lot of people die, and a bunch of apartment buildings all linked together. Very much like some of these big apartment buildings if they ever caught fire here, you know, and a lot of this stuff could happen, and it does happen at some places. I think one of the biggest causes of death over here is people, because everybody has gas. They have gas stoves and all, and somehow a fire starts because of that. Yeah, not very nice. Okay, well, this is going to be a short video. I guess the other thing I will talk about is, that's very interesting, something that Elon Musk said, and I think he said something like from the World Economic Forum, it's you will own nothing and AI will have your jobs. And that's absolutely true. And if you're starting to look at everything, AI can do just about everything. I was looking at, well, I mean, you guys were listening to this, I think it was the #1 country song in America just not long ago. Maybe it still is. And it's not a human being. It's not a human being. It's AI. It's an AI voice, AI music. Everything is created by AI. And I mentioned already before, there was one person that I knew, and well, he stops. I won't get into who that is, but anyway, I guess he wrote a book about himself. You know, the guy, he's an intelligent guy, of course. He made many millions of dollars, and he doesn't like people at all. He's very greedy and he's very selfish, and anyway, that's his deal. But well, he didn't write the book. AI wrote the book, and he sent me like a chapter or something. I read parts of it, and just because he's not known as any kind of a famous person or anything like that, he didn't like Bruce Willis, you know, save the world a whole bunch of times, or Chuck Norris or somebody like that. So I just read part of it, and I'm saying, dang, this is really well written. I didn't even know at that time. See, this was years ago, a few years ago, but I didn't know that it was AI that wrote it, because I was thinking, this guy is a really good writer. He's good at everything. Well, most things. And well, like I said, it turned out he had it AI write it all. I don't. And he was even telling me once that all you have to do is give a few sentences, like, you know, maybe you can write a whole book about a heroic life, and you tell AI, maybe, I don't know, maybe every page you give them 2 sentences and they write the entire rest of it. and make you out to be a really big hero? I don't know. But I was even asking I was a dental technician, and I was asking a dentist, about if he knew about any dental labs, because I went to one and they wouldn't even let me in the front door. Very strange, I don't know. And but I was asking him, this dentist, and he was saying that most all of them in Minsk. I know that there are regular dental labs. I know that for a fact. But with people doing this same craft that I knew, doing it all by hand, your crowns and your metal frames and your resin dentures and things like that. But he was saying most of it's all done. I don't know. He said AI, but I think what he means is like 3D printers. So they have these machines, and you give them you scan in maybe the area where the crown is supposed to go, and like a 3D printer sort of a deal does the crown for you. At least that's the impression I get. Very strange. Boy. But I'll tell you what, maybe there's a lot of jobs, and this is going to be kind of strange for me to say this, but the jobs that nobody wants. Like maybe shoveling the snow, or maybe even picking apples, I don't know, farming, hoeing up the soil, all that sort of stuff. A lot of those jobs, of course AI can't do it, but of course we're moving into big time into robotics and the 3D printers and all of this sort of stuff. And you have to look for something, even if it doesn't pay that well, and it's not very glorious. You have to try to find some sort of a job where some sort of a machine or AI is not going to come and take it from you. At least not now. And maybe that's going to happen in the future too. And I think Elon Musk was also saying something about money. We won't be using money, and that's gonna really be strange as well. So I really don't know. So we're in for and this is going to happen very quickly, it looks like, because look at how fast AI is growing. I was watching some videos. As a matter of fact, I saw something and it said like Colonel Douglas McGregor and whatever, and then I started watching it. I said, wow, that's his voice for the most part, and I don't know if did it have his face? I don't remember if because nowadays you can't even tell by videos if somebody is that, but it was his voice for the most part, and I could tell that was not Colonel Douglas McGregor. The way he was using his voice and all that was not him. That was not him. That was AI. Somebody's using AI. And then just today, I was so shocked before I was leaving, because I was watching some videos lately. A lot of time I just look at a lot of news titles, or not titles, little stories and things. But I saw another one, and it was Alexander McCurris from the Duran. And it was like him, but he wasn't talking like him. I mean, it was his voice, definitely his voice. But it was like, I don't know what you'd say, cleaned up or something. So it might have been his video, and either he or somebody like really cleaned it up, got rid of a lot of pauses and all sorts of things. So it was like just a little bit too polished. It sounded like somebody who's trained to give you like a news anchor or something like that. So that was really something. And also, what happened today? I guess you got Kaja Kallas. Oh boy! I mean, she's got a couple brain cells more than Annalena Baerbock. Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, she's right around there in that intelligence level. It's really sad. I mean, I like. There's so many women that are so clever and good. Even this Caroline Levitt from Donald Trump's. I mean, she's like a young, beautiful, and intelligent, and she really can think on her feet. Amazing, 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 amazing woman. I'm not saying I like her, like what she says. I don't have any idea, because she's just a mouthpiece. I mean, I didn't mean it that way. I didn't mean it that way, guys. But anyway, but then you got like, even I've always said Tulsi Gabbard, and there's Marjorie Taylor Greene. Gosh, my nose keeps running. I got to get a handkerchief or something. And yeah, but then why do they parade these I don't know what you call them. I don't like to use the word, but bimbos. Why do they have these bimbos like Kaja Kallas or this grandma bimbo Ursula von der Leyen? Oh man, alive, you know. She's nothing. She's sort of like a female blonde Hitler version or something, you know. Anyway, even the way she talks is just incredible. No, but Kaja Kallas, what did she say? That in the last 100 years, no one has ever invaded Russia, and Russia has invaded 19 countries. And I'm trying to think of who are these 19 countries, first of all. You know, maybe you could say Poland, or maybe if you know, I don't know. I guess you got to stretch things a little bit. But Adolf Hitler did not invade the Soviet Union on June 22nd, 1941. So what did... Well, you know, they're trying to change history. They're trying to say that that Russia dropped the nuclear bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And I guess now they're trying to say, you know, it's sort of like, what's the name? Mia Sandow from Moldova, that the Nazis were the liberators. You know, I mean, this is really incredible. And like I said, you got to keep all of your books, your old books, because they're going to try to change history. And maybe at some point, you know, AI is coming in and all, people aren't going to be having books anymore. And so everybody's going to be relying on whatever the internet tells you. And I heard already they're trying to manipulate AI, I don't know if it's Chat GPT or some of these things. They're trying to manipulate those things and put wokeism in there. All sorts of, and then that Israel is the greatest, or some stuff like that, you know. Absolutely incredible. So we're in for a real fun time, I guess. And it's probably all going to happen, I don't know, at least in 10 years. Within 10 years, all this stuff is going to it's going to come about. We're going to have some really weird crap. I tell you what, I would actually predict it's going to happen a lot faster than that. I would say in about 5 years, we're in for a real doozy. But I'll just give it a little bit more time. I'll say 10 years, just to be safe, because by that time, it's definitely going to happen. Well, everybody, that's about all I got to say today. It's a very short video, obviously. And like I said, I'm just waiting for anything really substantial. There certainly is news going on, but I just decided not to take notes and make a big thing about that. So anyway, everybody, I appreciate that you're joining me. And yeah, I don't know. Oh, one more thing. I want to add one more thing. There's some chubby lady here coming. Let me go this way first. There's one more thing. I remember that somebody, I was talking, you know, I like to complain a lot about, you know, and whine and cry about YouTube a lot. And I was saying that, you know, like my views, you look at your views and you see like maybe 17 and 1 minute later you got 15 or 14. And, you know, normally once you get a view, you can't unview. I mean, that's it. It's not like likes. I guess you can have a like and then get rid of the like, but you can't do that with the views. And so when I saw some likes, you know, going, I said, okay. But not with views. And I remember, I think maybe even on 2 occasions. See, I didn't note it the first time. I only noted it the second time. But somebody had contacted me, and they asked, oh, you, and matter of fact, I know now I know they did it twice, because I remember this. They used kind of a similar line. They said, oh, you were better than how many views and things like that, and you get, or subscribers. I don't know. And they asked me if I want to have them promote my channel. I'm wondering, the first time it was not so serious, but this other time it was a little, maybe because I asked a question or something. I can't remember, but I guess what it is, and then I found out this one person, the same person I was telling you about, that had a book written about, he wrote it, or AI wrote a book about himself. He has a channel, and he did this. and they call it advertising. They say it's advertising, either on YouTube or it's on Rumble. And of course, he did it on Rumble. He's on YouTube, and he was only getting like 30 views or something after a year, and pushing his channel big time. He's had much less than I do, which is very strange. But but he got like, I don't know, and then he got like, what, 160 or something like that on Rumble. And then he chose to use this guy, and so he pays every month, and I believe it's $200, 200 US dollars, and right away, zoom, he got 20,000 views for promoting the channel. But I'll tell you what, it's not promoting the channel, and I highly suspect it's very much like music. You know, YouTube works with music companies, and if you have music in your video, like some song or something is playing in the background, and you get some kind of a copyright strike or something like that. And as far as this promotion for your channel, I think that these sort of people, they work with YouTube. Maybe these people with music, and you have to pay some money. I believe that does work. And then you can have music in your background. I believe, I'm not positive, with YouTube, or you got to pay some sort of a thing. But anyhow, I believe that's with the with views and maybe subscribers or something like that. You pay a bunch of money, and all of a sudden, zoom, your channel goes up. And I wonder what happens. What if you do this just for 2 months and then you stop it? I wonder if you lose all these subscribers or views or whatnot. But I tell you what, I think that maybe YouTube does it itself, or they're working with people to do that, and there's some sort of, it's just, this is Ukraine. It's like Ukraine. Every place in the West is Ukraine. It's Ukraine everywhere, and everybody gets a cut. You do this, and you get a piece of the action, baby. That's what it is. So that's it. That's all I have to say today. And again, everybody, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.